Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
And we're here. What is this, the 18th edition now?
Is it 18?
I think so.
Already? I don't even know.
Yes, it is. I just had to go onto the YouTube page to see that it is post Raw number 18. Yeah. What's up, Jason, Quentin, everybody here? How you doing? Good to see everybody. Yeah. So, okay. Well, Raw last week, in case you hadn't heard or seen our show or listened to Doug Lackey's show, which you should be listening, was probably, maybe, I think so, one of the worst Raws of the year, consistently from top to bottom.
Definitely.
No good segments whatsoever. It was just a dumpster fire, to put it very bluntly.
Yeah.
And the big question was, how were they going to
redeem themselves?
How were they going to follow up? So over the weekend, they announced that Ronda Rousey would be competing on Raw in a tag match with Natalya against Nia Jax and Tamina, thinking that Ronda Rousey is going to move the needle a bit. You know what I mean? And did it work? Did it not work? Ooh, well, we'll be the judges of that.
Right.
Yeah, that felt like an out of nowhere, like, let's just try to redeem ourselves thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for me, it didn't really work out. I was very, very interested to see how they were going to go about the redemption round, and it was an odd thing. Okay, so let's just check out the Twitter poll, which has 44 votes already. And I only put it up, let's see, I put it up 11:04, so it's been up for 12 minutes.
Everyone's so quick. It's amazing.
I know. It's got an 84% thumbs down, so not as bad as last week.
Not as bad as last week, but it was still
this is an improvement.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right, because it was in the 90th percentile last week.
Yeah,
so
this is a marked,
now we reached the 80th.
This is a marked improvement here. Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Progress is progress, I guess.
So instead of having 0 angles that were good, this one had 1 angle that was good. Okay. Was it the best angle? No, the bar is set insanely low right now, so if they even just brush against anything successful, it's like, oh, success.
Exactly.
This is awesome. Okay, let's just do a jump into Raw real quick. Look, this one's not gonna be. This is not gonna be pretty. I could say that. It's
not gonna be pretty.
It's just one of those shows that's just
It's the kind of the theme is like, it is what it is.
Precisely.
Right?
Yeah.
I would say
this is what it is, and I know, I see the comments. I see them, think it's time for Mike to take a break from Wrestleview.
Who said that?
Oh, idiots that don't.
No, but where?
Just around, believe me. It's,
on Twitter?
It's there. So I just want to say,
you know what, I was very...
Look, if anybody, let's say we have... Okay, so let's say I did take a break.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody gets on me for being negative. Right. On these shows, and I should be, because I'm I just call it like I see it. It's an awful show, so I call it awful. Okay. On the flip side, then you would get somebody who, in theory, that people would want, that would be positive about the show, overly positive, and then you would call them a fraud. So there's no pleasing people. So if you're out there thinking oh my God, Mike's being too negative on Raw, simply put, you're an idiot.
I learned this past week.
It's like, what?
Even with this podcast, I learned that I was pleasantly surprised on, even for myself, people are like, you're so negative, you're so whatever. You talk way too much about other staff and not can you give me a break? Come on. It's really,
can't please everybody.
But I will say this. Even though there were some negative, there's been a lot of positive. So I'm going to take all the positivity that I can get.
Yeah, there was a positive on the show tonight. We will talk about that. I look for positives, and I think...
Yeah,
if you've done your due diligence and watched us for any time, you'd see that we're very, very positive on Raw.
But wait a minute, though. like, shouldn't everybody be looking for the positives? Don't you want to go into something? Like, do you think we really like to be like, oh yeah, that stunk. Oh yeah, we really didn't like that. Like, no, that wasn't very good. We're calling it like we see it. If we don't like something, we're not gonna.
Look,
okay,
I'm not
we talked about this before. Just let me finish. We talked about this before. You and I happen to agree on a lot of stuff when it comes to these shows, but we're not just going to disagree for the sake of disagreeing.
Yeah.
We're not going to agree on something for the sake of agreeing. We have our opinions of it. We would be frauds if we said, like, oh my gosh, this is the best Raw ever. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Or, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. This is our opinion. So,
right.
That's all.
Right. I just expect a little more, when, you devote 3 hours of your time and they seem to be phoning it in. So why credit them with anything that's like, any positive feedback when they aren't giving you anything to be positive about?
Right.
It's, like, I'm sorry if my opinion doesn't match up with yours, but that's called discourse. Something that this country is very, very flat on now. There's no such thing anymore. It's like, oh, you don't like my guy? I hate you. It's like, it's like, whatever happened to just like hearing, like, okay, so I have one view, you have one view, you have another view. Let's discuss. Like,
right. Discuss or agree to disagree.
It just has to be like, people watch, like, you come home, you watch, shows that have, like-minded opinions as you do. And it's just kind of like, you're just watching a vortex of just your opinion. You don't grow that way. You don't learn that way.
No.
You don't, grow that way.
But
anyway,
whatever.
I'm done.
Yeah, we're done.
That's it. So let's get into
Soapbox
Raw.
ended.
Yeah. That's enough of that. Okay. Where is my Raw recap? How about that? I should have it open.
I have your recap.
You have my recap open. Okay. So this would have been very nice. This would have been, I promise you, I would have started off the show completely positive if they had done this. Raw opens up. We're supposed to have Ronda Rousey and Natalya taking on Nia Jax and Tamina. So it would have been nice to have Raw open up with a
match. Wow.
Which rarely ever happens. I counted that 1 year. That 1 year from like 2014 to like 2016. So it was September 2014 to like January or February 2016. That was the amount of time that was in between Raw opening up with a match to the next time it opened up with a match. Every Raw has to open up with some like long promo or some craziness like that. Lately they have been tampering down on the super long promos.
Yeah.
But the promos still open up the show, whether it's Stephanie or Baron or something going on. So this week they're going to attempt to open up. Hello, Grash. How are you, sir? They were going to attempt to open up with a promo.
Yeah.
I mean a match, and it didn't actually turn out to be a match, but at least it was action. So I will take that. I will absolutely take that. So it's supposed to be Ronda Rousey and Natalya versus Nia Jax and Tamina. And everybody gets in the ring, and then while we wait for the match to start, the Riot Squad make their entrance. They come down holding a table. Jax and Tamina blindside Rousey and Natalya, and they just, basically take them over. Rousey tries to make a comeback. She's overwhelmed. Same with Natalya. She tries to fight off the Riot Squad. She's overwhelmed. And then they send Jax and Tamina send Rousey into, I think, the stairs. Yeah, let me see this. I should, I'll just bring up my screen capture so you can see what's going on here too.
Why not? Let's get all technological.
Oh, yeah, yes. So yeah, they send her into the ring steps, and I gotta say, Rousey, she takes a great beating.
Absolutely.
If there's one thing I really learned from her at Survivor Series, it's she knows how to take a really excellent beating. There's also, I also learned that in her last 2 UFC fights that she could take an excellent beating and get up.
Maybe not mentally, but physically.
Not mentally, yes. Physically, she takes a great beating.
Physically, she takes a great beating. Mentally, not so much.
She doesn't really handle that well. And then Natalya gets powerbombed off the apron by the Riot Squad through a table, which looked pretty good. I have to say, Natalya took a good bump there. I think they got the message to stop exploiting people's deaths because, they did mention Jim Neidhart that in the past the Riot Squad has done stuff, but there was nothing else from the Riot Squad tonight. Alexa Bliss, who has taken over Raw, the Raw Women's Division, given the charge by Baron Corbin, sends the Riot Squad home immediately after that. So that's the last we hear of it. So we don't have to hear about Daddy Neidhart anymore. That's a good thing. It was a good opener. I liked it. It set it up for later on. I think, there's such a... The only problem, and it's the problem with Raw all the time, it's that they'll set something up in the opening segment for the main event, which is, after the opening segment's over, the main event is about 2.5 hours away. Mm-hmm. So by the time the main event rolls around and Natalya eventually gets taken out of the match and it's Rousey and Ember Moon taking on Nia Jax and Tamina, I had already kind of shut myself off from, that opening segment. I honestly almost forgot about it. Even though they showed replays of it, I really, really didn't remember it too well. And it's like, even if you put that on at the 10 o'clock hour, that's a big difference.
Well, yeah, if you kind of go from,
I think, I'm just saying the pacing.
Well, yeah, you lose it. Well, you also, run into the problem where people may tune in for that and then not till the very end of the show.
Right.
So, knowing that that's the consistent pattern.
Yeah. And that actually hasn't been the pattern. People watch they watch the first hour and then it just starts to peter out after that. It's that's why they got rid of the overrun, because people were kind of doing that, coming in for the overrun, and then they were like, okay, well, this isn't good for us, because that third hour would always plummet.
Right, but you still
plummet. now you're forced to kind of watch the third hour.
You're forced to watch the third hour, but in the sense of if you're going with this pattern of the opening segment relates to the main event, you're still teetering on that line of I don't really need to watch till that third hour.
Right.
It should really kind of surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying put it at a 9, maybe at the 9 o'clock, but the 10 o'clock too would be better.
10 o'clock is best, because then it's kind of like how Raw used to be, where you build up a segment at the beginning and then, an hour later, an hour and a half later, here it is paying off, and it's still kind of fresh in your
they're
mind.
All just sitting there like this.
But God, when you have to go through a 2.5 hours of just whatever this was,
yeah.
It lessens the impact that this match would have, and I love Ronda Rousey matches. I enjoy watching her work. I know that people are a little more critical of her lately, but we have been too with her promos. Because she'll start off good, she'll have a great little thing, and then it devolves into that wow, you need monolithic mutant, blah blah blah. And whatever the hell she says, that nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that. So, Anyway, I like Ronda Rousey stuff, and I just wish that they would have just, put it a little earlier so it would have had more impact. Okay?
Cool.
So that was the opening segment. And then, because it was so good last week, because this was the best segment on the worst Raw of the year, we have to do it twice. Bayley and Sasha Banks again for another WWE freaking fan forum. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? These two are such okay. Now it's now I just gotta go. They are such losers. Okay, and yeah. Granted, I'm sure they know that this is just a failed dead angle that nobody cares about, nobody at all. But I'm sure they're not clamoring to stay together. I'm sure if they had a choice, they probably would just break up and just get this over with already. But God, they stink at it's like you could tell that they're just shut down. They are just done.
I think they feel defeated.
Sasha Banks and Bayley are just two dead women walking in the ring. It is so sad to watch. They are just lifeless. They try to do these things and okay, we're going to do this face thing and say, oh, I wish you would disappear. Oh, it's like they come off as such losers. Okay?
I feel more bad for Bayley though, because I think genuinely Bayley is a nice person. Sasha Banks is not. So
I don't care what kind of person Sasha Banks is. All I know is that is the kind of performer she is, and that's just not a good performer.
I know, but Bayley had some real kind of cool positivity, fun, aspect to her character, and then obviously it just stayed stagnant, and now she's in this position where she's tied to Sasha Banks. It's just not working out.
No.
I think that both of these women are so eager to just get out of this, but they're just doing what they're asked to do at this point until whatever happens. Who even knows what's going to go on with these two?
Well, now they have officially mentioned the Raw Women's Tag Team Championships. They said that that's their goal. Okay, so we have a company that doesn't know how to book the 2 tag team titles that they have already.
I know.
And now we're going to bring in women's tag team titles.
And with these two.
With a light roster. Why? So Sasha Banks and Bayley, let's just say that they have these Raw women's tag team titles now and they win. And then it's just endless matches with the freaking Riot Squad or Tamina and Dana Brooke not Tamina and Dana Brooke. Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke or Alicia Fox and Mickie James. Oh, wow. Yes, for equality purposes, we have to have a 3rd women's championship. And then probably a 4th for SmackDown. We need to just every segment will be a title then. We already have a problem with titles meaning something. Because one title never appears on the show, so it means nothing. And then the rest of them are just, it's like everybody gets a shot at the title. Everybody gets a turn. Like, the first brand split was like, okay, way too many titles. Everybody was a champion at some point in their career. And that's what's happening again. Like every segment will now involve a championship on Raw. So, like, if every segment involves a championship, how can any segment mean anything anymore if they're all the same? You know?
I do know. Listen, this is the one thing, that I have to blame the fans on because they screamed, we want tag team championships.
Well, they didn't respond at all tonight in tonight's segment.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like, this is their fault.
It's like Oprah.
But this is the one thing that like WWE should be like, you know what? Maybe not. Sorry. Like they pick and choose what the fans want versus the legitimate things that they should go with. And it is something that's like, maybe not. But they always pick the wrong things to listen to the fans about. This is not one of the things.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, of all the things that
they're
going to give the fans what they want on, this is the one.
This is the one.
Yeah.
So stupid.
We don't want better, writing. We want more titles.
I will stick to this though.
They can't book titles.
I feel more bad for Bayley than I do for Sasha Banks. Okay, that I will throw out there.
Okay.
I think Bayley's a good person. I
don't care what kind of people there are. I don't care.
But Sasha Banks is awful.
Bayley could be the worst person ever. She could kill 10,000 puppies, drown them all in a bathtub.
What's wrong with you?
And been involved in 15 hit and runs and everybody's dead. I don't care.
Are you hearing this?
I don't care what kind of people they are. I just want to see something entertaining on my TV. I don't care at this point. I just want something with these two to be entertaining, and it's been years now. Years.
I don't think Sasha Banks deserves to be entertaining. I think she deserves to
I don't care about Sasha Banks. Look, if you're going to be on TV, at least be entertaining. She knows that she has a turd of a storyline, and she's making it worse by phoning in every single one of her things. Okay? So, all right,
I think we're done with this.
Yeah, I can't anymore. It's just so awful. It's just so awful.
We've devoted too much time to talking about them.
Lord, and these fake fans that they found. Good Lord, that was so awful. And then so then this leads to anyway. They had the worst comebacks ever. They're high fiving, and it was brutal. It was brutal. And somebody on Twitter was like, "Oh, I think they're doing a good job." I was like, "What are you watching?"
I want to find this person.
Literally everybody in the crowd, every single joke that they made, you could literally hear the crowd. Go back and watch it. The evidence is there.
I don't want to go back and watch it.
It's sitting on your DVR if you have a DVR.
I don't want to watch it though.
It's sitting there.
What do you want to torture me?
Every time they make a joke, the audience goes, "Ugh,
ugh." Do you like me?
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the viewing.
Oh, you're doing a general you? Go back and watch it.
No, we have an audience here.
No. Don't tell the audience to watch it.
Sitting and watching.
You're cruel. No, you're being cruel. Why would you tell the audience to go sit and watch it?
No, go and watch it.
No,
you don't believe me.
Don't watch it.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, like Jason C says, just give everyone a title belt. It's like Oprah. It's like Oprah's the general manager now. Okay.
And you get a belt. And you get a belt. And you
Everybody
get a tag
gets a
team.
belt. So this leads to Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Mickie James and Alicia Fox, and Sasha Banks and Bayley win. Who cares? It's it's like they finally have a tag team. They have a tag team finisher together, backstabber into the belly to belly. So I guess they're going to be in a tag. They're an official tag team after a year and a half.
Move on.
Oh yeah, awful. Okay, so we have, let's see, Ronda Rousey finds Alexa Bliss backstage. Bliss says she didn't know what the Riot Squad was going to attack, and Ronda Rousey has to find a new tag team partner because the match is still on for tonight. We also have Baron Corbin backstage with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. And they also showed like this was actually kind of cute. I kind of like this, and I don't really like much involving Baron Corbin, but they did this like goofy little video package talking about how great he is. And actually, I got a real kick out of it. It was they had the big voiceover guy. Baron Corbin has done such a great job with Raw. He is a visionary that put Alexa Bliss in charge of the women's division and blah 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 blah. It was actually kind of funny. They had this inspirational video. It was like those old Bo Dallas videos that they used to do.
Oh yeah, I like those.
I like those. And so anyway, we have Baron Corbin backstage with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. They want revenge for Drake Maverick pissing on Bobby Roode's robe. So
facts.
And they want a tag team title shot for that. Anyway, so yeah, Corbin says, yeah, you can get a shot at the tag team titles as long as you can beat Drake Maverick. And it's like, okay. And AOP and Chad Gable are banned from ringside. All right, cool. Now this is the segment that this one literally made me reconsider life. Really made me reconsider my life watching wrestling now. It's like WWE is like at this point now where they just do whatever because they can. Obviously, they got their $1 billion deals. They got $1 billion for SmackDown.
They have nobody to compete against.
There's no one to compete against. They know they got a built-in crowd. They know people are going to watch anyway, and they know that they have loser fans that are going to defend them. No matter what, absolute total zeros that are just mindless sheep that will just the job. It's like wow, no, they're like freaking idiots. There's mindless sheep. Anyway, but they think that okay, we can just put this out there. We can just rewrite the rules of established wrestling for forever.
Okay.
Faces and heels mean nothing. We can just make a tag team that a face tag team that will always have a handicap advantage over people, even in a singles match. Even in a singles match, it's now 3-on-1. And we can just condition the crowd to cheer for them just because they do flip moves and it's like a backyard trampoline act. And you can't rewrite standard storytelling. I don't care who you are. This is like it's just bad writing. The Lucha House Party stuff, like look, I am not against having fun. I don't mind them doing flips.
Oh no, no way.
But you're trying to reinvent the wheel here with like this like bizarre like Lucha House rules. Like now, okay, okay, whatever. It's a tag team match. Fine, they're smaller guys against kind of bigger, smaller guys in the Revival. I get it. Okay, so you want to do like 3-on-2 there, whatever. Fine, but tonight it's supposed to be Scott Dawson versus Kalisto, I think it was, and then it turned into it's contested under Lucha House rules. Now Scott Dawson, the heel, has to face the face tag team of the Lucha House Party, all three of them.
I think Lucha House Party, they're heels. How
can you cheer for that?
They're heels.
Where's the drama that you can get behind on the people? This is basic storytelling here. This is basic storytelling. But then again, the only qualification to become a writer for WWE apparently is you have to get a D- or higher in creative writing 101. Because I can't think of any other qualifications that you really need. Okay?
You don't need a legitimate qualification. There's no way.
You need to have written for Days of Our Lives for 2 weeks.
No, honestly, I just consider the Lucha House Party's heel. I think they're heels. I just think
they should be. They should be like the Mexicools or LWO or something like that. One of like the You know, like a heel Latino stable. Like, we haven't had that in a while. That'd be nice.
Well, I'm just saying, in a technicality purposes, yeah, okay, they're faces, but no, they're
faces for what? Because they do a bunch of flips.
They're heels, though.
You could do flips and be heel too.
I just consider every match they have, if they're going to be doing the handicap matches, which they've been doing, I'm just going to take it as it's going to be heel versus heel.
Yeah,
that's all.
But I refuse to comment. I will recap it. But I will never. This will be the last time you ever hear me comment on the Lucha House Party, as long as they continue to do this.
Right?
Because you're not going to reinvent the wheel, and then I'm going to have to sit here and talk about
and defend it,
and talk about it, or try to find any silver lining in it. There's no silver lining in it.
No.
It's just bad
Stupid.
booking. It's bad storytelling. It's awful. So the next time there's a Lucha House Party freaking segment that we're going to talk about in the show, my back's going to be to the camera. You just take it, and then I'll turn around again, because I'm never, never going to mention it again. I will never comment on Twitter about it again. As long as they do this crap, I'm done with the Lucha House Party. This is trash writing. This was better writing.
This was way better writing.
Drew McIntyre appreciation.
Way better.
This was fun. So Baron Corbin wanted to honor Drew McIntyre for all the great work that he's done.
Why not?
For Baron Corbin, which is like, that is very nice.
Lovely.
That is a lovely thing to do.
What a good friendship and good boss.
You know, so Corbin came out. Corbin actually had a better night than he's had. And again, it might just be that, like, I am just so it's like Stockholm syndrome now. It's like I am falling in love with my captor. But like, I guess the bar is set so low that if he just goes above it just a little bit, it's like,
yeah, no, that is exactly what's going on here.
Yeah. So he talked about, like, his journey from a wrestling superstar to a constable to general manager elect. So if you're born better than everyone else, you can achieve anything. And, but during his journey, he's had a few thorns in his side, like the Shield, Kurt Angle, and Braun Strowman. But due to one man, he has been pain-free. And they show a video package of Drew McIntyre, and then because he took out Kurt Angle a few weeks ago, Baron Corbin gives him a gold medal, which I just I love that. That was actually really
was really good.
That was cute.
It was.
So he gives him a gold medal for all the work that he's done destroying people. McIntyre goes and cuts a promo about how he's here to end complacency. 7 months ago he came here. He was going to eradicate the roster of people that play video games backstage, and just, you know, they only try hard on Monday night, which actually, that is a little bit of a criticism of WWE.
It is, definitely.
Although there are some people that are on Monday Night Raw, Sasha Banks and Bayley, that don't really try, even when they're on Monday Night Raw. So he just, you know, he's supposed to be facing Finn Balor, which when they announced that this week, that Drew McIntyre was going to be facing Finn Balor at TLC, I was like, oh, really? So, like, they did everything they could tonight to build up Finn Balor a little bit.
He just looks like a big creep.
He did look creepy at certain points, but, like, Raw has no true faces except for Seth Rollins, who is tied up in a segment that can only really be one segment.
Right.
You know, if we need somebody multiple times dealing with the Baron Corbin thing,
exactly, they
need to build up another face. So just like the Redskins, who I think they were on their third or fourth string quarterback tonight, because the one got injured 2 weeks ago. Then I think the other one got injured. Now they had McCoy, who got injured.
I don't follow the Redskins.
And now they had Mark Sanchez on Monday Night Football tonight. So the Raw is also having to dig down deep, because we don't have Roman Reigns, we don't have Braun Strowman, and Seth Rollins is tied up with something else. So that leaves us with Finn Balor. That leaves us with Finn Balor, who has been bastardized and just totally destroyed, you know, for most of the year. I can't remember the last time he's really done anything of significance on Raw.
Yeah.
And so I guess, you know, tonight was about building him up. But before that, they send out Dolph Ziggler, who cuts off Drew McIntyre's promo. And he says, you know, I noticed I wasn't in your video package and I'm not involved in this. You know, I guess my invitation got lost in the mail. But, like, you know, we had a pact here, Drew. And I thought, you know, I was the brains and you were the brawn, and, you know, it was working together. And McIntyre says, you know, our little partnership worked for me for a while, but I was always the brains and the muscle and the talent. He's the whole damn package. It's not working anymore. Ziggler's role was to get him in a prominent position, so for once in his life, Ziggler succeeded. He sarcastically thanks him, and then he dismisses him, which I love that. That was awesome. Drew McIntyre just absolutely killed it with that. And then Ziggler wouldn't leave, so he goes, "You should be kissing my feet." The reason that Ziggler's been the only reason that Ziggler's been relevant for the first time in 10 years is because of McIntyre. So Ziggler attacks and actually hits the zigzag. And I was like, okay, great. That's where it should end. Maybe build to a match later on with these two, because, for 7 months, they have been a tag team that we've been watching.
Right, give it
and
more
they've been
time,
dominating.
anticipate it, yeah.
And this is actually, a bigger match. This would be like a personal rivalry for Drew McIntyre. But instead, Baron Corbin makes the match, for right after the commercial break. And on top of that, I love that we joined it in progress, so we don't even get to see the beginning of this match. Okay, so, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chat room. I just took a look, and Jason C says, "Please bring Enzo Amore back and have him destroy Lucha House Party and then quit." Oh my God, that's something else. Okay, and then Quentin has been killing it with the sheep memes and Thin Balor. Because he's losing muscle mass, I think.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so Dolph Ziggler just transitioned out of his heel role into a face role, and now it's just like he has to do a match against Drew McIntyre and be a face. Wouldn't it? Okay, so let's just talk about the match first. I like the match,
I like the match, and overall, I'm going to say this. I think Drew really, really killed it. He did an amazing job. He is gold when it comes to this company, and I really see, like, the potential in him. Oh, like, the match overall was really good. The segment overall, really good. But the end, was, which we'll get to, was stupid.
Yeah, no, we'll get to the end in like in a second. I know that.
But overall, though,
I did like that Drew McIntyre, like right in the middle of the match, he was like really pounding on. Oh, God, that's funny. He was really pounding on Ziggler, and then he takes a mic. He takes a microphone. And he goes, I still have a soft spot for you, and I've been taking it too easy, so I'm going to treat you like somebody I don't like, Finn Balor. So that brings Finn Balor out to the ring. He was at ringside for most of this, but I like that he was beating on Ziggler, and he's like, I'm taking it too easy on you, and then he beat on him even harder, I guess.
No, he's really, really good. He's really, really good.
And then, so Ziggler rolls over the referee, distracts him. So that leads to Finn Balor drop kicking McIntyre and almost getting a countout victory. Oh, that's funny. I you know what? I didn't watch this. I didn't watch the GIF that I put up there. I just saw that. I just knew it was drop kick, but TDE Wrestling actually got a really good one. So like he drop kicks him into the barricade and says, "We'll be right back." That was pretty funny. So yes. So McIntyre beats the count out, gets in the ring, and Ziggler pins him with a super kick clean. In a match that wasn't announced, and this is Drew McIntyre's first pinfall loss, him getting pinned. He's been on the losing end of tag team matches.
Yeah, but not him.
But he's never been pinned or submitted. So this is his first loss on a Nothing Raw in an unannounced match. So, okay.
No.
You first.
Yeah. And the reason why I want to go first is because I know you're going to say the same exact thing. But this is where I fear with Drew that they have this gold mine here, and then it's like somehow WWE just knows how to ruin things. I'm not saying that like he's going to be like damaged goods or anything like that, but they have to be careful. And this is where they tend to lose it a little bit, and they scare me because it's like you don't want to ruin something that's really, really good. If we had to have the match in the first place, there was no reason for Dolph Ziggler to pin him. They should have just kept it at the count out, and that would have looked legitimate because Finn Balor kicked him into the barricade.
Right, because countouts lead to rematches.
Right, they lead to rematches, and they can elongate the storyline. I don't know now if Drew's going to retaliate, obviously. He said he's, in the segment later on, he's like, I'm even more angry, and now I'm going to even really show you how motivated I am. But I just don't think that, WWE has a tendency to ruin really, really good things. Don't let this happen to Drew McIntyre. Please, 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 please. Because he is just so good in every facet of his character, between his mic skills and his in-ring skills. Don't ruin it with stupid little things like this. Maybe to them, they think this is like meaningless, but in the long run,
nah. Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
I don't think it's detrimental, but it's like
they're not going to ruin him.
They're not going to ruin him, but at the same time, though, you can't say, "Oh, he hasn't been pinned in a singles match."
Well,
Raw.
But this goes back to like what I was saying about LHP. I'm not going to say their names anymore. In this backwards booking thing, it's time. It's really time. Hold on. It's really time for them to do a major overhaul on the writing staff, I think. The crunch. It's time for them to do a major overhaul on the writing staff. It's enough with the TV writers. I think I'm checking out with the TV writers, and I can't believe that they haven't done so either, because these people don't know how to write for wrestling. They really don't. They can do little cutesy storylines, and usually around WrestleMania they come out with some pretty decent stuff, but most of it, especially the Raw storylines, are always convoluted messes that just don't really lead to any real drama. Always the best angles always come from Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman writes the Brock Lesnar storylines.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you, enough with the TV guys that can't make it in TV, so they take a job at WWE thinking it's going to boost their resume and they're going to get a job. They're not. Okay? And they don't last that long. So there's never really any continuity with stories, because it's like one guy will start writing a story, he'll be gone in 3 months, and then it's just forgotten about because that guy's not there anymore.
I think they should do
it's time to bring in people that know wrestling. So it's time so Rhino lost the loser leaves town match tonight. Maybe Rhino joins the creative staff. I'm sure Rhino has some ideas. Like Paul Heyman said, I've asked him personally before if he would ever go back to writing for, Raw or SmackDown. He said, never, pretty much never. But there are guys out there. There are smart people, former wrestlers, that could and should be working and creating. Wrestlers should be writing the show, okay? Either wrestlers or some executives, something like that. Because wrestling for years was written by other wrestlers and it worked fine. And in most cases, when they do write it, like Triple H has a big hand in NXT, former wrestler, former/current wrestler. Again, I'm not comparing the shows, but that show just has a better flow. The storylines are a little more digestible with the simulated fighting atmosphere of a wrestling show. And it doesn't have to be like, some bizarre, convoluted, emotional thing. It's just wrestling. Okay, like, can we get wrestling back to wrestling? That's my question. That's all I got to say about that. I just think it's time to get wrestlers back in the creative room.
Okay, no, you said what I was going to say. So
yeah, so that's that. And if okay, so let's say, and I guess I should have tied this in like this. If a wrestler were to book this segment, I don't think that a wrestler is booking Drew McIntyre to lose by pinfall to Dolph Ziggler, okay? I think what happens is, number one, I don't think we get the match at all. I think they save it for another week, where they can actually promote, even if it's next week's Raw. At least it has a week of promotion. And it's like, oh, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre broke up? Well, I wasn't watching Raw last week, so I guess I'll check it out this week because it's a 7-month thing, and I watched over the summer, so I'll see what happens. At least you get a little promotion. So Ziggler, who is the face now, he's a face, and hopefully he doesn't go back to being a loser face, picks up a win. Doesn't mean anything because no one's watching. And Drew McIntyre loses a match that nobody was watching. For the first time, he loses the match. So I think if a wrestler's booking this, I don't think that this match happens this week. I think it happens next week at least, and we get a count-out finish that would lead to a pay-per-view match somewhere down the line. Save Drew McIntyre's first loss, his first pinfall loss, because I don't think Drew McIntyre should ever submit. Save that for an actual pay-per-view match or a big match on Raw that actually means something, not just a throwaway. So it's like, you lost this perfect selling point of a gimmick. He hasn't been pinned yet. Tune in. Will he get pinned this week? It's just backwards booking to me. Moving on. Elias. He's out to greet the crowd. So I don't even remember this segment, to be honest with you. Do you remember anything about it?
Lio Rush is just very creepy.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to just skim this thing and see how much I could get.
I don't like the way his character's developing.
Let's go to the chat room. Hold on real quick. Jason C. Has something to say. To me, this somewhat hurts McIntyre. I mean, he has been a monster. Why not wait and have him lose to a guy like Strowman? Yeah, that's what we're saying too.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that statement.
It's like that's just common sense. It's just basic storylines. But again, like I common sense. What is common sense anymore? I don't know what common sense is.
I'm going to say it again.
There is no sense anymore.
It's not detrimental to the career or anything like that. That's obviously not going to make or break him.
It'll be forgotten about.
But if you look at it in the long run, it doesn't add to the continuity, and you're not getting a consistent storyline, and that does hurt people at some point. When you say, "Oh, but remember that one time Dolph Ziggler beat him on Raw?" Those things do tend to pop up.
Yeah. So let's see. We got oh yes, now I remember this segment because it was awkward. So Elias versus Bobby Lashley at TLC. Oh wow.
Can't wait.
They can't really get me jazzed up for that. But so what happened was Elias was doing a song, Bobby Lashley comes out and does some poses, and then Elias chases him up the ramp. So Elias is the one who leaves the ring with the guitar in hand to go attack Lashley, and he gets to Lashley, so he's going to charge him, and Elias is immediately knocked down. Like, what?
The camera work tonight was just
the camera work
terrible.
was bad. During the Ziggler-McIntyre match, they missed the inverted Alabama Slam, and this one they had a big miss too. So number one, they showed Elias eventually does get the better of Lashley and goes to hit him with the guitar, but Lashley escapes. But like Lashley was like tripping on his feet, and like Elias could have easily cracked him at any point, and he stopped. So like that was shoddy camera work, showing that like Elias had a gazillion opportunities to hit him and he didn't. So it makes Elias look bad. And then all of a sudden, Elias is just standing there, and Lio Rush appears at his feet. It's like, where did that come from? And then Elias cracks him with the guitar, and then the commentators, "Oh, Finn Balor's out here," and he threw him out. Well, where's Finn Balor? The cameras completely missed that. It was a weird production night.
Well, that's why
WWE production's usually right on the money.
Well, that's why Finn Balor looked like a big creep tonight, because it was just like suddenly it popped out of nowhere. But obviously everybody else knew where he was. We had no idea.
No.
So all of a sudden it's just this creepy Finn Balor on the side of the ramp.
So strange. Very strange.
So bizarre.
Yeah. So that happened.
And Lio, like I said, Lio Rush just really creeped me out.
I know.
I don't like this whole like, look how amazing Lashley looks. Like, look at that physique, and like, I don't know. It's just taking a little bit too far.
I know. So our next segment is Bobby Roode versus Drake Maverick. Of course, there was something to it because before they went to commercial, they were saying, "Oh, this match is next." Renee Young was like, "There's something up here." So obviously we knew that there was going to be some kind of swerve, that's all we've been seeing on Raw lately. Every big match ends with some sort of interference too. Jim Ross actually put it out there last week, and I it's like sometimes Jim Ross comes off as like crotchety, but he's right. It's like, I'm not watching matches anymore on Raw. I'm just waiting for the interference for the finish. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm not actually getting invested in the matches anymore. I'm just waiting for the interference. And this was another one of those. So Bobby Roode, not that this was an exciting match or anything like that, but Bobby Roode and Drake Maverick, they get in the ring, and then we go immediately backstage to see AOP attacking Chad Gable. Then Baron Corbin comes up and says, "Oh, it's a 3-on-2 handicap match." AOP gets down there, they kill Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, and they pin him. So Drake Maverick and AOP are victorious over them. There's no Raw Tag Team title rematch. So peeing on the robe means nothing. All right, we're almost through this. We're almost through it. An inoculated Dean Ambrose appears on Raw in gas masks with a security force of gas mask people. Would you like to take this?
Well, There's a lot of things I could say, but I'll just keep it very brief because I don't really care to comment too much on this, other than the fact of these. See, I don't know if it's like just my OCD, but these little things bother me. First of all, to come out with these masks is just ludicrous to begin with. But I don't know if it was intentional or not, but when Dean Ambrose was in the ring and he started doing his promo and then he had the mask on, but I don't know if he felt like he couldn't hear himself. He tried speaking in it for a little bit, but then he eventually took it off. So one that bothers me because the incontinuity of that is like, wait a minute, I thought this was like in a German-infested town and that you didn't want to breathe in their germs, but yeah, you're taking off the mask. So all of a sudden that because you're in the ring, it's okay. There was no reason for you to come out in the first place. And then for your security guards to come out with it and to begin with. So that just, like I said, I don't know if because he did start speaking into it with it on, but then maybe he got uncomfortable. I don't know, and I know he wasn't necessarily going to have it on the whole time, but you shouldn't have come out with it in the first place.
It's just stupid.
And now we're having these stupid sirens when he comes out, and just we're going back to that old Dean Ambrose of he's a lunatic, he's crazy, because he did have some kind of sort of
goofy.
He had some sort of kind of legitimacy when he started talking about breaking away from the Shield, saying that Roman and Rollins used him a little bit, and he never felt like that they really had that camaraderie and they had that brotherhood. So to just do this is like, and you know what though, even if, and I hate to bring this up, but even if Roman Reigns didn't get sick, we knew that Dean Ambrose was going to break away from the Shield regardless. What were they going to do? Like they obviously had some sort of plan in mind maybe before this. I just feel like they kind of changed it, or maybe this was the plan, that they make him like this crazy lunatic again. I don't know.
I don't know.
But like I said, I think my OCD kicked in because I'm like, you can't have the mask on, you can't come out and whatever. Like
it was just a dumb gimmick, and it was like, this thing started off with such promise. Like I defended it when Dean Ambrose turned during the Roman announcement. So when Roman Reigns announced that he has leukemia and would no longer be, would have to leave Raw for, we don't know when or if he's ever going to come back. I was the one who was defending Ambrose's turn because it was gonna. I thought that it would turn him into a super heel. The people, kind of like what Nia Jax is. Nia Jax broke Becky Lynch's nose, and she gets great heat when she's in the ring. She does, because people are legitimately mad.
Right.
And I think that's the only way that you can truly make a heel now, because everybody wants to see the turn. Heels can't be heels anymore because the fans just want to cheer them. So the only way to do it is to like literally capitalize
bring real life,
on
problems.
Not exploit them, but in this sense, kind of use it as like a launching pad a little bit. He didn't exploit the cancer that night, but it just so happens that the emotions of the night made him a heel, because it was just unexpected. Like he was a face and he didn't turn on Reigns or anything. They turned on Rollins, and that was an emotional thing. That was like a rare moment where we could have had like Ambrose take that next level.
Kind of worked, yeah.
And then he cut that promo where he burns the Shield jacket, and he says that, the Shield was holding me back, because the Shield doesn't mean anything anymore. It's not what it used to be. And then all of a sudden he starts doing this thing like, oh, what's that smell? Oh my God, the crowd smells so bad, and this and that. And then he's in the office getting horse needles in his butt and stuff like that. It's like, what the hell's going on here? So we had this opportunity to make this guy who could have been a next level heel,
right?
And now they leveled him out. They turned him into a goofy heel,
right back to where he was.
Again, we need to have gimmicks. We can't just they don't know how to book a feud, like a blood feud. This would be a blood feud with Rollins and Ambrose. This is so much history to it. It's better than they ever executed it before. The launching angle was phenomenal, and now they are doing security goofs in gas masks, and Dean Ambrose talking like he's Darth Vader and then taking off the mask and like, oh,
I thought he was Bane.
You people stink. Yeah, that he was doing a Bane impression. He came in to WWE doing a Heath Ledger Joker impression. So now he's moving on to the Dark Knight Rises.
Just moving through,
whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I just don't know. Like, they don't know how to book serious angles anymore. On the main roster, it seems like, or at least on Raw, they don't. Everything has to have some sort of stipulation. Everything has to have some sort of gimmick. You know, it's like this storyline writes itself. Just go back and forth. Have an actual promo or whatever.
Right.
I get Dean Ambrose doesn't want to talk, but you know, there's got to be. So it's like if he's not exploiting the cancer, because they did eventually go there and exploit the cancer. So if he's not exploiting the cancer, this is the best they can come up with. If you know, like they have no other alternatives. They have no other ideas. This is a totally clueless, idealist creative team. So somebody watched frickin' The Dark Knight Rises and said, "Oh, let's turn this into a wrestling storyline."
Yeah.
What a joke! What a joke! That one bugged me. That one really bugged me because again, I thought this was going to take off, be feud of the year.
And it should have been. It easily could have been because there was nothing to write. It was just there.
It wrote itself.
It had a built storyline in.
It wrote itself.
It wrote itself.
You know? So, anyway, Raw seems to be running long now, and they promised us a loser is fired from Monday Night Raw match with Heath Slater and Rhino, so they did that, and that was about a minute long, if that. So Heath Slater wins over Rhino. Rhino is fired from Raw. So he's moving on to Green Bay. Like, of all the people, I think Rhino's the luckiest person tonight. Like, you know, you get away from this writing stuff.
Get away from everybody.
Get away from this writing stuff. Maybe he can go to SmackDown or just go home and go to, like, Ring of Honor or something like that. Anyway, so Baron Corbin catches Heath Slater backstage and says, you know, you didn't think I was keeping you as a competitor, did you? He hands him a referee shirt. He goes, I think you could have a long, successful career as a referee.
I like Heath Slater.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about the prospect of Heath Slater being a referee.
Me too.
That's really exciting. That was probably the second best angle on the show.
But you know what? I like giving it, if he's going to be on TV more, I actually like that. I like Heath Slater a lot.
Yeah, I hope he referees every single match, like, as punishment.
I know, me too.
And he gets, like, a sore shoulder and his arm's in a sling.
Him getting, like, hilarious. TV time, I'm okay with.
Yeah, I love that. So we have Finn Balor, who's actually been being booked really well tonight against Jinder Mahal.
Except for the camera work,
except for a couple of a little bit of shoddy camera work.
Creepy guy.
Yeah, he's just like saying,
"Here I am."
You know, that's what he was doing basically during the Elias segment. But Finn Balor goes over Jinder Mahal pretty easily. He looks really good in it. And for one night only, they booked him as a competent face. And I put that tweet out there. I put, for one night only, they booked him as a competent face. Then the very next segment, he gets attacked by Drew McIntyre, which is fine because they're facing. It was
actually okay.
They're facing a TLC.
You know what? That was actually all right.
Yeah, but Finn Balor was actually booked like a face that means something, which is fresh because I don't think they've done that since he faced Seth Rollins in 2016 at SummerSlam.
Just don't ruin it.
Yeah, they haven't booked him that well since the SummerSlam match in 2016. So
I was actually talking to one of my students today, and mind you, I teach third graders, and they're like, I used to really like Finn Balor, but he should just come out as a demon all the time. I don't know why he comes out. It was so funny. I'm like,
if
wow.
Third graders are saying it.
I'm like, wow, an 8-year-old is very, very. I go. Wow, you're very wise. He goes, thank you.
Yeah, really. Yeah, so like if he comes as the demon, he should beat Drew McIntyre pretty easily. Like you would think at TLC.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, if we're saying it and now, third graders are saying it, it's like.
And I promise you, I did not influence him. He's like, Tabasco. Yeah. So cute.
So now we have our promised main event: Nia Jax and Tamina versus Rowdy, Ronda Rousey, and Ember Moon. This is just a basic paint by numbers tag team match. Every single tag team match you've ever seen, except for one thing, and that is Tamina is an absolute dumpster fire in the ring. I mean, and we've talked about it before. And Doug made some really great comments on Wrestleview Weekly last week about how Tamina doesn't even do the simple jobs right, like standing there in the background being the intimidating face. She doesn't even do that well. I mean, intimidating heel. She doesn't do that well, and there's nothing in the ring that she does inherently well. So she just because of who her father was.
She's still on the milk carton again.
She should be not just on the milk carton. She should be like in the alumni section. We shouldn't be seeing Tamina in the ring anymore. She's a hazard. I think that she's a hazard. I think that she's reckless. And she's stiff, and she doesn't move well.
She's more reckless than Sasha Banks.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think so. Nobody's.
She's not in the ring long enough.
Nobody's that reckless. But literally every single time that she was in the ring, it was bad. It really, and I'm not. And that's not an exaggeration. Again, you can go back and watch the match. That's just how it is.
I actually think you had a good night tonight. Out of I think Nia Jax really did.
Nia Jax had a good night.
Except for that one scream, that random scream that she did. She had a really good night even with their interviews.
Yeah, she had a promo with Charlie Caruso backstage, and she was doing like the calculated assassin thing, like kind of like what Jericho was doing in 2010. Talking, to the matter-of-factly, very to the point, and low, direct. She wasn't doing that, I'm a Valley girl, look at me, like... What is that? That's not a heel. That's not a monster heel. She did the straight. Motion. She did the straight thing. Like, first I'm going to take out Ember Moon. We're gonna take her out, and then we're gonna get Ronda Rousey. We're gonna isolate her, and we're gonna destroy her. But really, Charlie, I wish that she picked you because I really want you in the ring. And that was great. And then she goes, I'm going to continue my historic path to reclaim my championship. And then she screamed, "Ma!" It was like, oh God. That was the only thing that took it. She tried to put a little emotion in there, and it totally failed. But she should have just stayed. She should have just done this. She's mine. Like something like that. Anything but the scream. Anything but the scream.
But I think she had a really good night.
Yeah, she did. She had a much better night than what she did last week. She really did. Because that promo last week absolutely sucked. So that's Monday Night Raw. Ronda Rousey tapped out Tamina. That was it. Basic paint by numbers tag. Do you have anything you want to say about it?
No.
Yeah, because it's just what is there to say?
Overall it was fine. I didn't mind. I mean, it didn't mind it at all.
It was inoffensive.
No,
it was inoffensive. But like overall, this Raw, other than one angle, the McIntyre Dolph Ziggler angle, not the match, just the angle. That's the only thing that was good on the show. Other than that, that's an easy thumbs down.
Easy thumbs down again.
An easy thumbs down for me. And let's see what the people are saying. We have 97 votes, and it's been up for a little over an hour now. 91% thumbs down.
So now we reach the 90th percentile again.
Okay. So for those that say that I need a break and that I'm too negative, like so is everybody else. If we get a 9% recapper doing the show, people are going to outrage too. There's no pleasing people.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I think people are overly critical, and they really don't get what it entails to recap a show.
Yeah.
You have 3 hours of your time where you're consistently typing, consistently having to look at every little detail and move and nuance and recapping. I don't know how you do it. I have to be honest with you. When you go word for word on what the person's saying, because I lose interest, and I can't even imagine. So I'm sorry, and like it's not just because you're my husband, but like kudos to you.
No, I don't want that. No, it's okay.
No. I'm being serious because they don't know, and like and like you said, but you said just now. If you can actually sit there and tell me that you thought it was one of the best Raws you've ever seen, I want to meet you. I really do. Because you must be just like a really, really happy person. And I wish I had your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I wish I can live in this world. I wish I could live in this like fantasy world of like, that was pretty good.
Yeah. I wish I could be that naive. Anyway, so that was Raw. That's a 91% thumbs down. Much improved from the 95% thumbs down that the Raw received. That was the final vote last week.
Okay. All right.
270 votes, 95% down. 275. That's not a small number.
No, it's not.
All right. And now we're at 91, so they improved 4%. That's great.
Wow.
Excellent. So that's Raw. Everybody, we thank you so much for tuning in tonight. If you're listening to us, make sure you press subscribe on the Wrestleview if you're not already subscribed to us, and so you can stay up to date with what we're doing. Make sure you check out Doug Lackey's Wrestleview Weekly this week. It is a lot of fun.
It is good.
We like watching that show. We enjoy it. And one day the Tedescos will make an appearance on that show. I can guarantee you, or at least one of us will. I think it should be Victoria. But, Douglas, I'm sure, Douglas would welcome that. We could have a little post-Raw invasion on Wrestleview Weekly. So that should be fun. Maybe one day. We shall see. But until then, I am Mike Tedesco.
I am Victoria Tedesco.
Ciao.
Good night.